name of God, the gracious, the merciful, we give him praise and thanks for his mercy and his goodness to the human family. If all the trees upon earth were pens to write with, and if all the oceans were ink, and then another 7 oceans to add to its supply, the writing would still not be enough to explain the glory of God, for he's the exalted, all-powerful, all-wise. We praise no other in our good fortune, and we confide in no other in our time of need. He is one. We thank him for life itself. This is Brother Shareef with the Hour of Power. Go to Hour of Power, Shareef Hamid on YouTube. Subscribe and share. That's how we keep this thing going. Subscribe and share to like minds so we can lift the mind, body, and soul of our people. Before I get started, salute to my brother Stanley Hill there in York, PA, for the wonderful interview he did with me this evening about hip-hop in the state of our hometown up there in York, Pennsylvania. The brother put it down and gave a great insight and perspective on things going on there in our hometown. And we have other exciting interviews and informative interviews coming up. Hold tight. We're going to do what we can to lift the mind, body, and soul of our people. So tonight, family, I have a very serious, very important message. It's called the FBI. The FBI targeting black extremists and black power groups. The FBI targeting black extremists and black power groups. I have an FBI file right here, right in front of you. An FBI file that proves what I'm gonna put down tonight. It's called Black Identity Extremists Likely Motivated to Target Law Enforcement Officers. Black Identity Extremists Likely and Motivated to Target Law Enforcement Officers. This is a government file that just came out. Salute to my sister Anubi there in Michigan, who really clicked me on to this about a week or so ago. Salute to you, sis. Look forward to doing some things with you and the sisters down there in the Great Lakes area in Michigan. So it's on and popping now, family. It is no more I'm maybe on this side, I'm maybe on that side, or I'm in the middle. I'm going to quote my brother Collins up there in Pennsylvania. Salute to you too, brother, for your support with this channel and you supporting me. All that, well, I'm not getting involved in this. You getting involved today. Quoting my brother Collins, you getting involved today. They are putting it out there that you're going to choose a side. And with this demon in office, he's bringing it out. But it's okay. I'd rather have someone like Donald Trump that's coming out with how he feels and how the American people feel than someone trying to hide it and masquerade like it's something else when it isn't. He's coming out and letting you know what it is. So they're coming out, they're making people make a choice now. You see what's going on in the NFL? They're going to try to make them brothers stand for the flag. So it ain't no more wavering and being on this side of the fence. You're going to have to make a choice. Either you with the devil or you're going to be with God. Where are you at now? Because it's being made clear that they're going to make it clear that you're going to choose a side. Ain't no more picking and choosing anymore. Okay? You're going to have to make a choice. You're going to have to make a choice of who you're going to stand with. All right? So in the NFL right now, they're making the players trying to stand for this flag, a flag that stands for racism, injustice, rape, pillaging the land, stealing people's land. That's what they're trying to make them stand for now. They even had a coach, a former coach, Mike Dicker, come out and say that in the last 100 years, there has been no oppression. That's what he said. This Mike Dicker, who's the former coach of the Chicago Bulls. I want to show not the Chicago Bulls, but the Chicago Bears. And he said that there's no such thing as oppression in the last 100 years. Where the hell has he been? Look at that. Look at these lynchings. This book, which I have referenced many times before, Without Sanctuary, talks about the 100 years of documented lynchings in America. And this man comes on national TV and said there has been no oppression in the last 100 years. Mr. Dicker, where you been? or are you seeing what you want to see? Look at that. Look at that. This is where we are now. So you're going to have to choose a side, and they making people choose a side now. And this ain't nothing new. This ain't no new tactic. This ain't no new tactic. Do you know back in I will have to get the exact year, but I wanted to share this to show you how wicked these people are. Back in the 1600s, 1700s, they used to have laws where they forced citizens, mainly in the South, to do what they called patrolling, which we know is the police department now. First, it was night watchers. Then they called it patrolling. And then eventually they formed the first police department in 1838 in Boston. In Boston in 1838, it was the first formal police department. But they had police before that. They just called it something different. Night watchers, patrollers. But they had a law in South Carolina. Again, I got to get the exact year, where they forced the citizens to patrol the streets to catch runaway slaves. I think it was called like a Slave Patrol Act law. This was in South Carolina. I just got to get the exact year of when they did this to connect what they're doing now of making people choose sides. Yes, they're going to make you choose sides. So what they did, they had patrollers. These were people that didn't have no jobs, couldn't get no jobs. People from Ireland and the other European countries came here. They gave them jobs as slave catchers, but they made the citizens in South Carolina patrol, and they used to run them in shifts. And they said, if you don't help us catch these slaves, bring them back to their slave master, we will fine you and jail you. They made them participate, whether they wanted to or not. So they made them choose a side like they're going to do today. They're going to make people choose a side. Yeah, you getting involved today. You getting involved today. It's about to get real out here. So this document that they have now, it is a government document with U.S. intelligence through the FBI. And what it is they're basically saying black extremists, those who oppose the police department, oppose oppression, want to oppose the government and not going along to get along, they're labeling you as a black extremist. They even have an acronym for it, BIE, Black Identity Extremists. And anyone standing for Black Power, now they're saying the government is targeting you. Looking at your Facebook page, YouTube channel, they're targeting anyone who's opposing the government now. And they said these people are most likely to attack the police or have some kind of social unrest. I'm gonna read you the document. I'll be done. I'm not gonna be long tonight, but I wanted you to hear this. This is very, very serious. Again, this is a government document. This ain't no plaything. Look at the seal on it. This is a government document, intelligence assessment. And I'm gonna read to you what it says in this. Again, the front says, Black identity extremists likely motivated to target law enforcement officers. So they're saying because we're not going along to get along, we're opposing police brutality, government oppression, want to rightfully say who we are and where we're from. Now we're the target. We're dangerous. This is a government file that I'm about to read to you, family. The FBI assesses it's very likely Black identity extremists, BIE, perceptions of police brutality against African Americans spurred an increase in premeditated, retaliatory, lethal violence against law enforcement, and it will very likely serve as a justification for such violence. The FBI access is very likely this increase, listen to this, this increase began following the August 9th, 2014 shooting of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, and the subsequent grand jury, November 2014, declined to indict police officers involved. So they're saying this spur of black extremists and black power groups came with the killing of Mike Brown there in Ferguson in 2019. And then when they let the police officers off of an assassination and a murder, that's what it was, of a child, this is what spurred all this. Continue on with this FBI document. The FBI accesses, it's very likely, incidents of alleged police abuse against African Americans since then have continued to feed the resurgence of ideology motivated violent criminal activity within the BIE community. BIE means Black Identity Extremist Movement. The FBI assesses it's very likely some BIEs, Black Identity Extremists, are influenced by a mix of anti-authoritarian, listen to this, more science citizen ideology and BIE ideology. The FBI has high confidence in these assessments based on a history of violent incidents attributed to individuals who acted on behalf of their ideological beliefs. Documented in FBI investigations and other law enforcement or open source reporting. Very, very interesting. The FBI makes this judgment with key assumption in recent incidents or ideologically motivated. So they're basically saying because of what happened to Mike Brown and other police brutality incidents like Eric Garner, Tamir Rice, Sandra Bland, on and on and on, now these BIEs, Black Identity Extremists, have spurred. Well, I wonder why. You're murdering our people. So if you even think about talking against police brutality, they're saying now it's a problem. And now they're going to have to target us because they're figuring that these black extremists or black power groups are now going to target the police. Now they're switching it on us and coming out with a government file. I want you to understand how serious this is. I went through great lengths to get this information. Right there, this is a government file. This is a government file. Black identity extremists likely motivated to target law enforcement officers. This is 12 pages long. I want to read one more quick section and then I'll be finishing up. I'm just ringing the alarm on what's coming. And this, they saying this spurred with Mike Brown. The FBI defines Black identity extremists as individuals who seek, wholly or in part, through unlawful acts of force or violence in response to perceived racism and injustice in Americans in society, and some do so on furtherance of establishing a separate black homeland, autonomous black social institutions, communities, the same thing they do. They have their own, but now we can't have our own. Or governing organizations within the United States. This desire for physical or psychological separation is typically based on their religious or political belief system, which is sometimes formed around or includes a belief in racial superiority or supremacy. White supremacy, that's what they do. The mere advocacy of political or social positions, political activism, use of strong rhetoric, generalized philosophical to embrace violent tactics may constitute extremism and may be constitutionally protected. The FBI defines sovereign citizens extremists as individuals who openly reject U.S. citizenship. We're talking about the Moors. Status, belief that most forms of established government, authority, and institutions are illegitimate. You stole the Native Americans' land. And seek, wholly or in part, through unlawful acts of force or violence to further their claim to be immune from the government authority. The mere advocacy of political social positions, political activism, use of strong rhetoric, or generalized philosophical embrace of this is a threat to America and the police. It's all here, people. This is a government file. A government file. I'm going to read it again. Black identity extremists likely motivated to target law enforcement. We gotta wake up. You gotta pick a side. Ain't no more straddling the fence. Do you still think your 400-year-old enemy is your friend? They're going to make you pick a side. And that's going to be on you, where you go and what you do. And no one is exempt from this, especially if you this and you got any heart. What you going to do? Who you stand with? Because they're making you pick a side. They are making you pick a side. I know who I'm with. I'm with the Most High. Jesus was a revolutionary. He didn't stand patty caking with no government. Muhammad was a revolutionary. Muslims, you Muslims coming here trying to patty cake with this enemy and with this demon, opening these stores in black neighborhoods, selling pork, liquor, alcohol, cigarettes, and all that garbage, and thinking you were just going to blend in American society and be okay. You're not following the Sunnah of Muhammad, meaning following his way. He said, if you give me the moon in one hand and the sun in another hand, I'll never bow down to their evil and wicked ways. That's what Muhammad said. He wasn't with the government. So who you rolling with? Who you rolling with? We got to wake up. We got to band together and be strong. It's about to get real. Can't even watch football in peace anymore. Because they making them say you want to bow down to this flag, even though it's about racism, oppression, slavery, exploitation. You going to stand for this flag. So I'm waiting to see what my brothers in the NFL are going to do when they really bring down the heat. When they say, hey, we're going to take some of these contracts from you. What you going to do? What are you going to do? So again, the title of this lecture is called The Government, the FBI targeting black extremists and black power groups. It's a government file. It just came out. So it's getting real, family. It's getting real. I just wanted to alert you of it. For those who maybe didn't know, it's getting real. It's getting real out here. So ain't no more straddling the fence. This country is imploding on racial, it's a lot of racial tension. And now they want to know what you believe. They want to know where you stand. What you gonna do? So we need to band together, and stand on truth and put our hope in the Most High. So justice can prevail. They're showing you. They ain't just no pastime no more with the football. They trying to make these brothers bow down to a wicked flag that stands for oppression. And it goes beyond the flag. That's just symbolism. But they're showing you how serious they are. I'm glad we have this president in office. At least we know where he stands. We know where he stands. But where do you stand? It's about to get real. So this is Brother Shareef with the Hour Power. That's my piece for tonight. I'm not going to say no more. I did my part. I gave you the information. If you already haven't heard it, it's very serious. Again, it is a government file. 12 pages long. 12 pages. Look at that. Intelligence assessment. This is a government file. 12 pages long about black extremists and black power groups. Saying that now they're going to target the police because we're speaking out against oppression. Isn't that something? You inflict this oppression. We're bold enough to speak out against it. Now we're the target. We're the bad guy. We're the terrorist, not the perpetrator. That's very interesting, America. Very interesting. So this is Brother Shareef with the Hour of Power. Go to Hour of Power, Shareef Hamid on YouTube. Subscribe and share, and to lift the mind, body, and soul of our people. We desperately need to wake up our people. Our people are suffering in many different ways, and we need to come up with resources not only to help ourselves, but to help our people. But if all you can do is motivate someone to do better, to get off of drugs, to get off of alcohol, to get off of cigarettes, to be a family man, to look out for their children if they weren't previously doing that, you're doing a great work. But at the end of the day, like my spiritual daughter, I had a conversation with her. We need resources to really change the reality of our people. But if that's all you can offer right now is a motivating word, like she was telling me, then do it. It's not wasted. God sees it, but he can't change the condition of a people until we change our own condition. I leave you in words of peace. Assalamu alaikum to my Muslim family. Praise the Lord to my Christian family. Hotep to my Black conscious family. Shalom to my Hebrew Israelite family. And what's good to you, to my people in the streets. I haven't forgot about you. I'm going to do everything I can to, if I can at least save one, to help our people. I leave you in peace as I came. Assalamu alaikum.